So many of you are probably well aware about the PR crapfest that Bethesda is currently facing after they had the audacity to sell a $100 a year subscription for a game that launched broken, unfinished, and unpolished, and that remains broken, unfinished, and unpolished. Their thought process right now is that the number one priority isn't to fix the game, but rather to charge people more money when they still haven't gotten their money's worth. It is just mind-boggling. They have pissed off just about everyone, and the worst part is that a lot of what the subscription offers are things that the community recommended because they thought they'd be getting this stuff for free, given that this is what Bethesda promised. They said that they'd only monetize cosmetic stuff, whereas the gameplay stuff would all be free, would all be released post-launch at no additional cost, with the cosmetic microtransactions paying for the gameplay stuff. So they've paywalled things like Private Worlds, Scrapbox, Survival Tent, among other things. And by paywalling Private Worlds, keep in mind that they're also paywalling the ability to mod Fallout 76, because mods can only be done in Private Worlds for this entry. And to top it all off, it turns out that the features this subscription service launched with, this $100 a year subscription, the features don't even work. They launched broken. Private Worlds, turns out, aren't so private. And then for scrap boxes, which are intended to allow unlimited storage for crafting components, well, a lot of people are experiencing this issue where everything they put in scrap boxes are just disappearing. Currently, we don't know if these items are recoverable or not, or at least that's as far as we knew before Bethesda responded here. The following information was reported by news outlet Polygon. So this is an article that they published in regards to the recent controversy, and Polygon, when they reached out to Bethesda, they managed to get a response in regards to all of the core issues that people have reported. So this reads right here, update. A Bethesda Softworks representative said that an update to Private World settings will be coming soon to allow players to control all access to their private servers. The company also examined the Scrapbox and private server recycling issues. For Scrapboxes, Bethesda said that, quote, a small number of players with a large quantity of scrap are experiencing a display issue causing their Scrapbox to appear empty. The studio thinks this is a user interface issue and that players have not lost any scrap. They should still be able to access it when crafting from workbenches as usual. Bethesda continued with, we are actively working to address this issue both internally and using the data and characters folks from the community have provided us. So it's hard to say how much of this is actually true because I haven't seen anyone provide an update saying that the items stored from scrap boxes that have seemingly disappeared should be accessible from workbenches. So this is a Reddit thread that's focused on compiling bugs and glitches from Bethesda's latest patch, Patch 14, which introduced the new subscription service. So this reads right here, issue, scrap boxes are consuming the scrap. And then this whole excerpt is a new update that I haven't covered previously. This reads, this most frequently occurs when the player either switches worlds to adventure, confirmed, crashes shortly after placing items in the container, confirmed, crashes while in the scrap box while placing junk in the container, confirmed, and when the player crashes while switching worlds, confirmed. Thanks to an unresolved Fallout 76.exe specific bug causing a GPU assignment problem every server sync or other similar operation occurs, my client lags/freezes. There appears to be a sync that occurs about 15 to 30 seconds after entering your survival camp and another that occurs shortly after exiting the scrap box. If any of the above conditions occur before, during that sync, the contents of the scrap box will at times be no longer present. That includes opening the friends menu and switching worlds while in the scrap box. Able to replicate about 1 in 20-ish times. Purchased Fallout First at around 10 EST, Eastern Standard Time, and was able to replicate twice by 10:38 Eastern Standard. So this is a much more detailed take on a potential explanation in regards to what might be happening here with stuff disappearing when stored in scrap boxes, whereas Bethesda is providing this sort of half-baked response saying that, oh, it's just a UI issue, it's an interface issue. That's hard to believe given this much more extensive explanation seems to be more logical, not to mention that this user was able to replicate this issue a couple times. And then on top of that, Bethesda also provided a statement to a Reddit user. Here's an update that this user provided, stating, update from customer service. I wanted to follow up and let you know that our developers are still looking into items going missing from the scrap box. At this time, we recommend trying the following: traveling to a public world and opening a scrap box crafted by another player, traveling to another player's private world and opening a scrap box crafted by another player, restarting the client, and uninstalling and reinstalling the game. Thank you for your continued patience and understanding. Now, this user hasn't updated this post since, so I can only surmise that they haven't gotten their items back. Maybe they've tried all of these things and that didn't work. I don't know. Wait, hold on. Polygon's article has just been updated with a new excerpt from Bethesda, an update in regards to their investigation. This right here reads, Bethesda Game Studios has continued to investigate the scrap box issue and now acknowledges it is more than a menu display problem for a small number of users. And then a Bethesda representative told Polygon, quote, our initial investigation indicated that this was a display issue and that no items had gone missing. However, we have since found that a small number of players have, in fact, experienced the loss of scrap items after placing them into the scrap box and then loading into a world. Resolving this issue is currently our top priority. We are also exploring ways to restore the missing items. So this goes to show just how unreliable Bethesda can be when issuing statements. In their rush to release a statement, they falsely claimed that they believe it's a user interface issue rather than players actually losing scrap. They've now since updated their findings, and yeah, this is something that Reddit users have been saying online. They have found that their items were missing, and whether that can be recovered or not remains to be seen. Bethesda says they're working on it, but who knows what that will yield. This is Bethesda we're talking about. And they're saying that this issue is their current top priority, so I guess private servers will have to wait. I don't know. The issues just keep piling on, and that's what happens when you release a product half-baked, half-assed. You just have a lot of catching up to do. Bethesda then addressed recycled servers, so the issue where in private servers, players are opening up instances in which stuff's already been looted as if it's already been inhabited by other players, which shouldn't be happening. On that front, here's what Polygon reported. Regarding recycled servers, Bethesda denied that players are getting used or recycled worlds. Quote, when a Fallout First member starts a private world, a dedicated world is launched on an Amazon Web Services server. Players who have seen looted containers upon login may be experiencing the expected behavior upon logout and login. Loot is instanced for each player in containers. As Fallout 76 players know, if you loot a container on one server and then log out and log back in to another server, the container remains in a looted state for a period of time. First of all, they have just about confirmed that the way private servers work in Fallout 76 is that Bethesda, through Amazon Web Services, hosts servers on their end and people connect to that rather than Fallout 76 allowing players to create their own servers in their own hardware so that they can really go all out with customizing that server and inviting whoever they want to invite. So I'll once again redirect you to this Reddit post that very clearly highlights how people expected private servers would work in Fallout 76, how they want private servers to work. This reads, quote, all I want is the ability to host my own server for my group of friends on my own hardware and not have to pay extra for it. Kind of like Minecraft. This isn't some revolutionary new technology. This has been done since forever ago. Private servers are nothing new. Bethesda just refuses to offer that because they figure they can just charge for it by hosting servers on their end and forcing people to use servers the way they intend people to use it. And then on top of that, Bethesda is denying that players are actually getting recycled worlds. They're saying that maybe it's the case of players looting something, logging out, logging back in, and then that stuff remaining looted, and them confusing that for the private server being like a used, recycled server. Well, I don't know if that's actually what's happening, because based on what a lot of people have said, there's plenty of indication suggesting that the issue is that servers are being recycled, not that there is some kind of confusion going on the player's end. So this right here reads, there are a few reports, and I've got confirmation from a few reputable sources, that newly created worlds, when a private world is first selected by a Fallout first player, has dead NPCs, already looted junk, not the time spawns, but clipboards, and other abnormalities that, when tested multiple times, seem to indicate these are not new world instances, but reallocated older server instances. This seems to be the current conclusion based on what the community's experiencing, and given that Bethesda's initial investigations have already proven to be unreliable, I would be more inclined to listen to the subreddit more closely than Bethesda at this point in time. Last but not least, in regards to private servers not actually being private, well, Bethesda admitted that they did a big whoopsie on that front. This reads, and as to private worlds privacy, quote, we understand this is not what players expected for their private worlds, Bethesda said, meaning that anyone in friends list may join a private world without invitation. We are looking to provide an option in an upcoming patch that will allow Fallout First members to restrict access to their servers more completely. Just think about what they're actually saying here. Bethesda saying, we are going to update the private servers feature of the $100 a year subscription service so that you can actually make them private. The whole point of private servers is that they should be private, and yet now they're thinking about updating the private servers with privacy settings. I mean, just think about that for a minute. That's like launching a first-person shooter game where the shooting doesn't work because that was some major oversight on the developer's part, and the developers come out and say, oh, I see that the shooting doesn't work in the shooting game. We'll update the game with some shooting. That's basically what they're saying here. The base product, Fallout 76, that was already an awful demonstration of Bethesda at their worst. A game that launched, again, broken, unfinished, unpolished, and now we're seeing them repeat the same mistake again with a subscription service that for a year, if you want the subscription service for a year, it's more expensive than the base game and offers far less value, sells back things that should not be sold at all, that should just be gameplay updates. The stuff that's in the subscription service doesn't work, and now we're seeing Bethesda admit that private servers not being private was a legitimate oversight on their part. One last thing I'd like to show you before I close out the video, just to really put that cherry on top when it comes to Bethesda incompetency. It turns out that Bethesda failed to secure the FalloutFirst.com domain. So a disgruntled fan snatched that up and created this lovely, rather hilarious website, which reads Fallout FU first. Member effed. And you can just read the whole parody of an update here. They take the basic structure that Bethesda used for their announcement of the subscription service, and they just really go to town. I mean, just a little sampler of what's written here. Ever since Fallout 76 launched, we have consistently done nothing to improve and evolve the experience based on your shitty feedback. That's why we're excited to launch Fallout Fuck You First, a premium ass-pounding membership that offers something dumbass players have been asking for since before launch, private worlds for you and select idiot friends. So we decided to put it behind a paywall. In addition to this huge feature, Fallout Fuck You First also includes a host of pointless items and cult bonuses, all of which you can find on my foreskin. You get the idea. That's about the tone you can expect for the rest of this post. You can read it for yourself, falloutfirst.com. Well done, Bethesda, on not even taking the most basic of precautions. So yeah, this is sort of where we're at with all of this. Bethesda has responded. Even if they do fix all of this, I would seriously consider not showing any support for this company financially. The fact that a $100 a year subscription can launch like this after Fallout 76 launched the way it did. The fact that they can repeat the same mistake again on a subscription service that on its own, without the broken nature of it, has garnered ridicule, that's ludicrous. That is just beyond parody. Not even parody can be as rich as this. Let me know in the comments below what your take is on Bethesda's response to the situation, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.